Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of the Cortina rebuild, and today we're going to start with the wiring. I've been up in the loft, which is where I snuck some of my car parts without my wife knowing, to get the wiring loom, which I removed from the car back in 2017 because I wrote the date on it. So let's get it unboxed and then I'll talk through what I've done with the loom. So my masking tape's not really fared well, but we will see what it's like. Oh God, I hate wiring. Right, so speedo and rev counter, GT gauges. I've got amps, temperature, oil pressure, and fuel. Cable and a starter cable, but that isn't very good. A Lucas sports coil, mainly bought that because it's gold. Right, now I'm gonna have to pull this loom out. Right, so that is the engine bay. And this is the dash, which is the main bulk of the wiring. So it should be a fairly straightforward job of wrapping this loom. The reason I feel that way is that when the loom was last on the car, I actually rewired the whole lot. Cortinas only have one fuse from the factory, and that is for the indicators. And the problem with that is, if you have a short circuit, your wiring loom sets on fire. I know this because it happened to me, and I'm going to insert some pictures now. I went through and I replaced every wire that was damaged, and then some that needed to modify. So we now have a fuse box, we now have relays for the headlights, the electric fan and electric fuel pump, which we're going to fit. Changed the headlights to H4s, and then I've put LEDs on the dashboards. So this bundle runs from the front of the car to the back. It starts at the A-pillar and goes to the tail lights. You've also got the fuel sender on there, and it's pretty basic, but I'm going to focus on this one first, mainly because I've never actually touched this one after rewiring the rest of it, and I can see there's been a bit of damage on there. Oh, there we go. So something's got hot. I also need to put in a wire for the fuel pump, which I've situated right in front of the fuel tank, so that would be easy enough to put in. But first off, strip this off, strip all the tape off, give it a clean, assess any damage, which we'll then fix, and then put fuel pump wire in, and then wrap it back up and then fit it. One lifetime later. So at the back of the loom, I found this scorch mark here, so something in the boot must have caught. Fortunately it's not burnt through the wires, but we're going to replace all three, which is going to make a joint a new section in. But further up on this green and red, there we go, you can see it, I've got another mark. So I shall replace these 3 pieces, but when you are making repairs similar to this, don't make all 3 wires the same length, because when you come to tape it together, because of the extra thickness of the solder and whatever else, you end up with like a bulged area of wires and solder and tape. So if you stagger it, it won't be any wider, so nobody will know that you've actually jointed it in. I won't film it because it's soldering and it's quite boring, but I'll show you the end result when I've done it. So the loom's had its extra wires put in and all the repairs done. So I'm going to start taping it up. Now, when you start taping a loom, the trick is try and keep the line as tight as possible because you don't want any excess. Like that. Move it on ever so slightly, keep it tight. That's what we end up with. Right, I'm not going to film all that because that'll be incredibly dull, so I'll catch up with you in a minute. Right, it's all wrapped. Took me about half hour to do that. My hands are feeling quite tight now because you end up having to keep so much tension on it. But it's all wrapped apart from the 2 wires that are going to the fuel tank. See, the red's going to the fuel pump and the green is for the fuel sender. I've not ended those yet because I need to get the right lengths, put the right end on it. So that'll get wrapped when that happens. But because it's a separate part of the loom, it really doesn't matter. We can blend it in. It's how it would have been wrapped anyway. And with that, I'm going to go get ready for work, so I'll see you later. Right, so I need to add a new wire to this plug, which is going to another oil pressure switch which will control the fuel pump. Fortunately, we've got this hole here. We can actually put a female bullet connector in, which means we've got to drill it. And then we'll need to drill this plug here all the way through. I have done it before when I put a fan wire, let me find it, this grey fan wire here was drilled through, and it's not the prettiest, but it works. It's sealed and it's isolated, so let's do it. If you ever have to rewire these plugs for your Cortina, it can be done. It's very easy. You push your cable through, which is going to be a right sod now. Tell you what, I'm going to get some GT85, which will help it. Bit of lube. That's spray that there. Right, let's try again. There we go. So yeah, push it through. Re-end it. 4mm bullet connectors. That's what this is throughout the wiring loom on these. Get that lined up. So I'm trying to do this as quick as I can. That's solderless, by the way. What do they call it? Uninsulated, sorry. There's a proper tool for it, but I haven't got one. Did the whole lot with these needle nose. It seems to do the job actually. Not had any problems with it. It's just would have been a bit quicker. And then you pull it through. Just give it a bit of a help pushing that. Put a bit of lube on that as well. There you go. That's how you repin them. The 4mm are ever so slightly bigger, which is why you get this warping. But it's minimal. It'll plug in. And then for the other side, you just do the same, but with a male bullet connector. And that is how you repin a Mk1 Cortina plug. Useful to know because some people will charge you a fortune for making new wiring looms for these. It's actually really easy. It's just time consuming. So from here, I'll get the other one pinned up. I'll show it you in a second. And I think that should be the engine bay wiring loom ready to tape up. Yeah, I think it will be actually. So this is all the engine bay wiring taped up and ready to fit, which we'll probably do in the next episode. I'm going to call this episode it now. I think it's going to probably be a bit too long if I carry on, and wiring is not the funnest thing to watch. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. And certainly with wiring, I hate it. It's an awful job. I'm really bad at it. So if you ever find a job like that, you know, write it in the comment section. We might be able to help each other out. But also, have a go. Just try it. At the end of the day, you can't do that much damage. Just be safe and take it steady. Right, now I've done the dad thing. I'll let you go. Have a good one.